San Diego.
Thank you, Tracy. Awesome to be here, like always.
We're just drinking some of our Premier Research Labs green tea.
Absolutely.
Extract.
Absolutely. Brains
Only
on
the
fire.
highest quality right here. We
Absolutely.
just like dumped it in.
No need to measure. Just it's about right.
Oh, it's delicious. I love that stuff. All right, so I'm really excited to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Because we're in alignment with everything we do. So much in alignment that we decided to start a clinic together.
Absolutely. Yeah, this vision, about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Hanging around your kitchen table, then here we are.
Here we are.
Opening nights tonight at 7.
So you're my cousin.
Yes.
And you are a specialist in peptide therapy and hormone balancing. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of cool because it's like we're doing all the integrative functional stuff, mostly focusing on energy medicine at our place. And then it was like this perfect fit to bring you in to focus on the pathology. So now we've got the advanced bioenergetic medicine where we can do so much preventative care with people. And then you can come in and do that we don't want to call it anti-aging anymore. The new word for anti-aging is
regeneration.
Regeneration
medicine. Yeah.
Regenerative medicine.
Yep.
And so we've got the full-on regenerative medicine clinic.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're so, it's going to be just an amazing environment for everybody who visits us and taking it to the next level as far as, getting down to the root cause, because so many times in medicine, in my experience and my personal opinion, is we're too rushed. People are just in and out of their appointments, and they're not being heard. Their story isn't being listened to and taken into consideration. So a lot of times what we try to do is we're just treating symptoms, but we're not taking care of the system that's producing the symptoms in the first place.
Yeah.
And so in functional medicine, which is what we're going to be practicing at Hydrate, is, again, just taking our time, treating people like individuals as human beings, to really listen to their story, because we all have a story and it needs to be heard. And especially when we have something in our lives that we want to overcome, some situation we want to move on from, and we need help, we need to be there to help them advance in the direction they want to go. But listening to that story is the most important thing. I
agree. The story is everything. Because it's not a one-size-fits-all.
Never it is.
I mean, you go to places, and it's a lot of times it's like, oh, everyone needs a hormone panel, or everyone needs this or that, because that's what they're good at.
Absolutely.
And I love that we've been able to join forces, and that we can look at the whole body, because unless we're looking at the holistic person, we can't get a good idea of how to help and how to treat at the root cause. And that includes thoughts, perception,
Absolutely.
Emotional traumas, chemical traumas, all of the things that are going on in a person's body. We need to understand all of those things in order to optimally treat them, so that we're not chasing our tail and just trying to look for the symptoms and working on those, because you'll never reach that potential that we want to optimizing their health if we're doing that.
Never will. And like I said, that's the thing about the medicine we're going to be offering and practicing here. That's why it gets me excited, because we're actually going to be able to practice medicine in the way I believe it should be practiced.
Yeah.
And we can have 10 people visit us with the same symptoms, say anxiety, fatigue, chronic pain, and sleep issues, but the reason why will be different for each individual. So that's when we got to put on our detective hats, to think and link to their conditions.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to do. So like I said, some people might need, a detoxification protocol or hormone balancing, or just getting out and just relaxing, because we're so stressed. We're surrounded by so much noise in our society.
Yeah.
And so we're not getting that chance to really just say, you know what, I'm just going to leave things alone. Doesn't matter what's going on in my life right now. I'm just going to leave things alone to take care of me and to relax and to reset myself. We never do that.
Yeah.
We never do that. So.
And we're focusing on cellular optimization. And 98.9% of the molecules in our body are water molecules, so we wanted to really pay a lot of attention to hydration as well, how the body is able to hydrate properly, and that includes sunlight, grounding, nutrition, minerals, sleep, all of those details that we go through in our 9 pillars of health, we're going to go through with each individual person.
Absolutely.
So I love that we're doing that. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, your passion. What got you into this regenerative medicine?
Yeah. So, growing up in Washington State, I'm originally from Yakima, Washington. And, it was just kind of the philosophy of how I was raised, you know, to really just, whether I knew it or not, you know, having food be an integral part of life, of wellness. So using food as medicine was something that I was just surrounded by. So as I continued, you know, graduating high school and all that, you know, it was one of those things that I was originally a firefighter for about 10 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, firefighter, and I served one term in the Air Force. So in the Air Force is where I really got my exposure to medicine. And, you know, and so after my enlistment was done, you know, I applied for PA school and got in. So I was super happy with that. And then, so as I continued through medicine, and, you know, after graduation, you know, I was trained conventionally, you know, it's kind of like, for lack of a better term, you know, a pill for every ill. If someone has blood pressure, what do? We give them blood pressure pill. If someone has cholesterol issues, cholesterol pill.
Right.
Depression pill. Sleep pill. But like I said, I never knew any different because until I just really it just clicked for me one day. It's like, well, what's causing these issues in the first place? Are we really doing any good as far as just covering up symptoms?
Yeah.
Let's treat the system. And so as I continued in my career, it was just, you know what, it was because I lived functional. I lived and conducted my life in a functional way, but I was treating in a different way.
Yeah.
And so,
well, you were kind of limited.
That
was all
too.
you were allowed to do.
That was all I was allowed to do. And, you know, quick 15-minute appointments in and out. You know, it was one of those things where I never really got to engage and inspire anybody that I was treating.
Yeah.
And that frustrated me.
That must have been so painful,
It
knowing
was.
that, like, hey, I can help them if I just give them these basics. Hey, how's your nutrition? Are you
Exactly.
hydrating? And
yeah, I knew what you need. It's like I look at an individual. They have fatigue, they have headaches, they can't sleep at night, and they're constipated or whatever. It's like, you just need to drink more water.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about hydration. But
right.
if I even start with hydration, you know, I'm already halfway through the appointment. You know, because I only have 15 minutes.
Right.
So it was like a medical meal, and
Yep.
I feel that is one of the biggest complications in our society and in medicine is we're just rushing people so much. And so when I decided I couldn't do this anymore, and I decided I'm going to open my own clinic. And so right now I'm practicing in McAllen, Texas, and my clinic is Restore Wellness RGV, and it's been an amazing experience. I mean, people are excited, they're enthusiastic, because they're finally having a place where they can go to be listened to.
Oh,
to be listened
huge.
to. And just really all I do is say, hey, okay, you know, they come in and do their intake form, and I sit back, relax, they share your story.
Yeah.
You know, we got their drinks, we got their goodies, you know, just really creating an environment of warmth because, like I said, people need to have their story heard and listened to. And that's what we'll do. And that's what we're going to do here at the Hydrate, you know, at Hydrate, and just to really engage and say, how can we be part of your team? How can we create that camaraderie that we need to get you to where you want to go? Let's talk about your dreams. Let's talk about, you know, your imagination, what you want to achieve in life, because that is so important for developing the routine and therapy we need to help get you there. And that's what we're going to be doing.
We'll talk about dreaming. Talking about dreaming, I think about how a lot of people dream that they can have this glowy, dewy complexion, have a svelte figure, have a lot of energy, have mental acuity. I mean, if we could have all those things, everyone could have all that, they'd feel pretty good. That's kind of a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like with regenerative medicine, there's so many things we can do to actually achieve that now in a healthy way to optimize our bodies. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what are the things that, talking about that dreaming, about what people want, what are some things that we're going to be able to offer, or you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So bioidentical hormone therapy is something very, very important, because what people don't realize is how important hormones are. And maybe some people do, but they don't really know the whole picture from what I've experienced as far as you know, we experience things as we age for a reason. We experience things in our 60s that we may not experience in our 20s. So we got to ask ourselves a question, well, what has changed?
Yeah.
And a lot of time it's the hormones, or it's the gut health, or something has changed within our system that produces symptoms. So what we're able to do is provide, you know, very, very clean bioidentical hormone therapy. You know, the company that we're going to be using is Biosana.
Okay.
And they're out of San Antonio, Texas. And, you know, the therapies that they have for us, you know, are clean, 100% natural, 100% bioidentical. So bioidentical means that it fits perfectly with our biological makeup as far as hormones, you know, as far as the receptor and cell health and things like that. So it's really neat, because a lot of times when people talk about hormone therapy, what do you think? Oh, cancer or side effects, things like that. Yeah. Which is true. I mean, and when you think about those things, you're not wrong. But a lot of times what happens is is there's different types of hormone therapies. There's different types of quality, and the clinician matters too, as far as if they know what they're doing versus if they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
So synthetic therapy versus natural and bioidentical therapy, we kind of get lumped into the same group.
Okay.
Versus somebody who does hormone therapy on their own and just, so for example, injecting themselves with testosterone, versus somebody who has a clinician who's managing, their estradiol levels, their prostate levels, making sure the red blood cells aren't elevated, the sex hormone binding globulin, all these things fit into the hormone replacement picture. And that's what we're going to be doing, is really taking a dive into how can you balance the body in a very natural, clean, but correct way, because there's a wrong way to do things. And we're going to be focusing, going the extra mile.
Okay.
That's not going to be rushed, to really make sure we customize each therapy for each individual. So that's, hormone therapy is going to be a big thing of what we do. And of course, peptides, something we're all, that we participate in ourselves, and something that very excited about. Yeah. So, peptide therapy is something that we're going to, really be focusing on too, because peptides are awesome, because what they are is they're small strains of amino acids that actually help. They're signaling agents that help stimulate the body to perform a natural function.
Okay.
And so if we talk about, regenerative health, how do we regenerate our cells, our tissues, our muscles, our brain, things like that. And we have these peptides that we're able to consume and participate in these different therapies to help us achieve a certain objective, depending on what that is. And like I said, we got to customize it for each individual. So a lot of different things, that's my world, and then combining it with your world as far as the hydration, the cell health, and things like that, is going to be, a match made in heaven. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited. So, okay, I love how you're talking about we want to balance the system. When I think about hormone therapy or drugs, hormone therapy that isn't natural, I think about forcing the biochemistry in one direction. Yeah. Whenever you force your biochemistry in a certain direction, there's thousands of other systems that have to respond, and there's going to be tertiary response, and it's oftentimes not good. That's why when you take medication, there's side effects.
Exactly.
Because in everybody's body, their biochemistry is so different that we don't know in your specific person, how is this going to affect your biochemistry? So what I love about you talking about balancing, and with peptides specifically, how it's just signaling, it's a gentle signal that's getting your body to produce what it's already meant to produce.
Absolutely.
It's just sending a message to signal it to say, like, hey,
wake up.
Wake up.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's not forcing
not
the biochemistry. And actually that's one thing that I was just at an integrative conference, and they were talking about how the next wave of regenerative medicine is really peptides, because it's not forcing the biochemistry, and it's gentle. And that really excited me, because they were showing a lot, peptides, as well as limiting your caloric intake.
Oh, sure.
Those are two things that really slowed the aging process down. So fasting for cell autophagy,
exactly,
as well as peptides. And they said those are the two things that are just the main things you can do for cell regeneration.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the most popular peptide combinations is one called CJC 1295 plus ipamorelin. And what this does is actually helps your body naturally stimulate growth hormone. So all the benefits of growth hormone for our hair, our skin, our nails, our weight management, muscle production, sleep, things like that, things that we may find as we age that are starting to decrease in our life. Yeah. Right. So how do we, not to use that term that that TFA word, anti-aging, but it is. How do we get that back? How do we get that vitality, that enthusiasm back? How do we get that energy and that strength back? Well, a lot of times we got to look at growth hormone. We don't want to inject exogenous growth hormone, because it just floods your system with growth hormone. It's not the way our body is created. It's not the way it's processed.
Right.
Because growth hormone is actually pulsated, just for a short amount of time, maybe about 20 minutes as we're sleeping. Yeah. So if we're injecting growth hormone into our body, say at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, well, we're throwing off our cycle. We're throwing off,
the whole circadian rhythm is blown out.
We're throwing everything off, and we're flooding our receptors with this hormone. So the cool thing about peptides is that when there's kind of like a gentle nudge, a gentle, hey, wake up, get out of bed. You've been sleeping for the last 20 years. It's time to get back to work.
Yeah.
Right? So, these hormones, they, go up to the, the hypothalamus. They stimulate the hypothalamus, something called GHRH. It releases it and pretty much fills the pituitary gland with growth hormone. And then the growth hormone is set and ready to go, and then once you're sleeping at night, then it, the GHRP, growth hormone releasing peptide, actually helps your pituitary gland release the growth hormone at the correct time.
Perfect.
So again, it's not something that we're flooding our system with. Is helping your body. Okay, let's get prepared to do things in a natural way to help, regenerate your body and to help your body produce something that it may not be able to produce at the levels we want to have the overall enthusiasm and vitality like we want. So again, that's one example. We have so many other examples of peptide use that we can use to help, again, heal the system and not just cover the symptoms, and that get down to that root cause on how we can really help each individual in a customized way.
Yeah, I love that. That's so important. Oh my gosh, we're so lucky to live in a time such as now that we have this opportunity with science and how it's advanced to be able to do this. I mean, it's actually really exciting. I love being in this line of work because it's like, oh my gosh, there's always hope, new exciting things.
Always
and
is.
I've been really enjoying the peptides. You got me on the CJC, the BPC 157, the GHKU, and then the thymosin alpha.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I've been doing all those, and I feel like not only have I had more energy, but I've been able to actually get my gains, like build muscle again. Yeah. And that's something that I was not able to do for a very long time. I've always been really lean and thin, and no matter how much I worked out, I couldn't build muscle.
Right.
So it's been interesting because I've been watching the scale go up, and it's almost like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Yeah. But my clothes all still fit. My waist is really tight, but I'm just getting that booty and everything's kind of like where I want the bulk to go is going there. And so that's been kind of like, whoa. Yeah,
you're exactly right. And that's when we get in trouble in medicine with numbers, I think. Because for one, everybody wants to, they say, when they come see me at my clinic in McAllen, they say, I want to lose weight. Well, after I get a little bit more of the history, you really don't just want to lose weight. You want to lean out. You want to have more strength. You want to have more energy. So a lot of times on the routine and programs we put our guests on is they come back and say, oh my gosh, I've only lost 3 pounds. I was like, okay, 3 pounds, okay, good. But how are you feeling? How's your sleep? How are you performing in the gym? How do your clothes fit? You know? And they go, oh yeah, I got to buy new clothes. I'm all baggy, but my workouts are great, but I'm not losing any weight.
But they only lost 3 pounds.
So it's like we can't focus on numbers. And we also get into that same situation when we talk about lab results, because a lot of times in medicine, what we're doing is we're treating numbers and we're not treating people.
Yeah.
Because I can have someone come in and they have hair loss, they have dry skin, they can't sleep at night, they're fatigued, they can't lose weight, they're cold all the time, their body temperature's off. And it's like, oh my gosh, well that's thyroid. Let's check your thyroid. And a lot of times when they come to me, it's like, they checked my thyroid and they said everything's normal. But you don't
what
feel
is
normal.
First of all?
Exactly, because the ranges are like
that might not be normal for you.
Exactly, and that's where we got to customize therapy, because a lot of times what we're doing is we're not even listening to those who we're serving. We're just looking at the numbers on a piece of paper. It's like, okay,
because you only have 15 minutes.
Exactly, it's like,
not the doctor's fault. It's just they're in this system and that they got to abide by it, and they're kind of trapped.
They're kind of controlled. So it's like that's what we don't do. That's what I don't do at Restore Wellness, and that's not. We're going to do the exact opposite here at Hydrate as well. It's like we're going to be treating people and not just numbers. Now, don't get me wrong. Lab results are important. It helps guide us down a direction. But then we can't just say, as clinicians, we can't just say, okay, well, I mean, like almost like medical zombies. It's like, okay, well, the numbers say you're good, so you must be good. Who cares how you're feeling? You must be good. Why? Because this piece of paper told me you're good. We can't do that. That's where we got to take our time. That's where we have to listen to the story. We got to think and link and not just name and blame. And that's where that's the medicine we're going to be practicing. And people are going to be happy. Because people are going to see a difference. They're going to feel better, but they're going to do so in a very clean, natural way. And that's what we're going to provide.
Let's go back to that word natural, because people talk a lot about natural. I mean, you go and you can get natural makeup, natural hormones, natural thyroid medicine even. But let's get deeper into that, because natural isn't always great. Gasoline's natural, right? Petroleum comes from the earth. Absolutely. So can we talk a little bit more about that? What do you mean when you say natural?
Mostly like a bioidentical way. You know, the way our body is created, the way our cells are created, you know, the receptors. How do we feel the receptors? Because think about like on receptors on a cell. Think of it like like an ice cream cone. You know, you want to put, you know, the right. If you want vanilla ice cream, you don't want chocolate on the cone, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like so that's kind of like where the receptors come into play. Like these receptors are all over the cells, and we have to fill those receptors with the right hormone, vitamin, mineral, something to help it get into the cell so the cell can perform at optimal levels. So when we say natural, we want to make sure that it's bioidentical, that it fits with our body chemistry.
Okay.
That it's not going to be, you know, rejected or maybe not work into the best of its ability. So
or filling or tricking the receptor site so that it's blocked, so that when we have the things we need going, they can't. Exactly. Xenoestrogens, they're mimicking estrogen, so it looks like we have these high estrogen levels, and really we don't have the proper amount of the so you have healthy estrogen.
Exactly. You have someone who, you know, again, they're going through menopausal symptoms and they're just really frustrated. Or you have a classic symptom I see all the time at my clinic is, you know, a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old, and they're having classic menopausal symptoms. Like, you know, my gosh, what is going on?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's an imbalance. You know, it's an imbalance of the hormones. Say we're in an estrogen dominant situation or progesterone deficiency, or, you know, they're having a lot of what we call aromatization, where the testosterone converts into estrogen, things like that, things that are just off that we need to correct. So, you know, that's kind of where, you know, it comes where the individualized medicine and therapies we need to develop with each individual, again, takes time.
Yeah.
And the story needs to be heard.
Awesome. So what can people look forward to? I mean, let's just say, for example, we had a case today, a woman in her 50s, and, you know, she came in and she just really, it felt like she had lost hope, right? Yeah. She was really emotional, and just feeling like she'd been to every doctor, spent so much money on naturopathic doctors, vitamins, supplements, natural hormones.
Yeah.
And I say that in quotations, and nothing had changed. Yeah. Her body, she was still suffering. And it was just, it felt really nice to be able to, like you said, listen to her story. I mean, we took like an hour and a half with her, listen to her story, every single detail, so we could figure out the proper plan.
Exactly.
And I feel like you're right. That's something that we don't see anymore, because money is equated into time, right? It's like people are like, okay, well, and for the time, you got to pay for this, and we're only going to give you 15 minutes. Yeah. But it does take time to hear their story and build a partnership and work together, because not only are we giving them supplements, 80% of the change is really going to happen with what they do. Are they drinking that water? Are they putting the minerals in their water? Are they keeping track of their perception, taking inventory of their thoughts, taking time to meditate, taking time to pray? And then I look at us as more like a coach, right?
Absolutely.
We're like a coach that's cheering them on and just encouraging them in the right direction. Right. And some people just need to know, where is that direction? They want to go there, but where's the direction that I need to go?
Exactly. I see it all the time. You know, I have guests come and see me, and they're like, okay, well, they you know, I don't know what to do. You know, it's like they tell me everything's normal because my lab results are normal, but I don't feel normal. So what's going on? It's like, am I doomed? Is this the way I'm going to feel for the rest of my life? And I just need to really create that environment of just peace for them and say, you know, no, it's not. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about your story. And come to find out, we're missing a whole bunch of details that need to be addressed to really get this individual back on the path of health and wellness. So, you know, and you're exactly right as far as, you know, developing those plans and instilling that hope, because a lot of people are just kind of left and just, you know, nowhere else to go. And that's something I want to change. And that's something that we're going to change. And, you know, with the lady that we've seen today, she was in that situation. She was in that situation of just no one was listening to her story.
I know.
And she was just kind of said, okay, we'll just kind of put you off the side. This is normal for your age. What you're feeling is normal for where you're at in life. And like I said, there are things we can do. We just need to take our time so we can customize the routine for each individual.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, you look at someone like a Jack LaLanne, who was like pulling boats when he was like 90 or something, you know, swimming.
Boats with his teeth or something like that.
I mean, it's like, why are there certain people like that? And then someone like my grandpa, who died in his 80s, who could barely breathe and emphysema, but he never moved. He was sedentary. He sat in a chair all day, watched his favorite show, Seinfeld.
Seinfeld's a good show.
And it was a great show. Yeah. But, the whole system, his body aquarium, the lymphatics weren't moving, just simple things. I mean, I look back and I'm like, man, he could have added probably more years to his life, but not only that, quality years.
Exactly. And I think you nailed it right there, because like they say, like, in the United States, it's like we're one of the richest countries in the world, but we're one of the sickest. Where's the disconnect?
Yeah, and health is wealth, so we're one of the poorest, really.
Exactly, yeah, if you look at it like that, absolutely. And so, like, yeah, we might be living longer, but what's the quality of life? Yeah. It's like, I have someone who's living for, say, like 80 years ago, okay, living to your, 60s, but now lives to 90, with those quality, those extra 30 years or so aren't you don't feel good. So, and that's what we got to do as far as coaching. And, I could have someone come into me and they say, okay, well, yeah, they told me, my other doctor told me that I got to eat better and exercise. Well, what does that even mean? Yeah. And like they have no idea. We're doing a lot of telling, but we're not doing a lot of teaching in medicine. Right. And so we have to teach, because it's like I can't expect someone, okay, there you go. If you haven't been doing it for the last 46 years of your life, so just start now. Well, how?
I know, and there's so much information too. Like you go to YouTube and look up how to eat healthy, when you're going to find Wendy's eating show where it's like the corn on the cob with the mayonnaise, which it looks really good, but might not be healthy every day, So exactly. It's like you said, they're telling but not teaching. Yeah. And I agree. It's like there's also, it's so much misinformation. I mean, I know when I was having my health crucible, it was like, okay, now I got to eat raw and living and, never eat any cooked foods because there's no enzymes in it. And then, I did that for like 4 years and I felt the sickest I'd ever felt. I was anemic. I was tired. I had way too many nuts in my stomach. Couldn't go to the bathroom, and then you kind of, you find what works for you. And I think that's what, like you were saying, it's not a one size fits all. And that's the same thing with diet. What you're eating is not going to be the exact same thing that someone else should be eating, with a different microbiome, a different body chemistry, a different lifestyle. Yep. So it's taking that time to really listen to that person, understand what that specific system is going to be for them. What is that diet? And then also that diet's going to change based on the season too. As it gets colder in the winter months, the summer months, we eat different things. Our bodies need different things. That's why the earth grows different things at different times, right? Because it knows, nature knows. And so really tuning in again to the body and understanding those things. One thing that I'm excited too about at our clinic is that we can do neural entrainment stuff. And I'm excited about that because a lot of people get stuck in their thought process. Yeah. So we've had people come in and you could give them the right food to eat, coach them, tell them everything they need to do, send them home with the right supplements. And they want to do it. They even pay the money, so you can see, okay, they're putting the effort they want, but they go home and they don't do it. They self-sabotage. Right. And I find that a lot. And that got really frustrating for me. It's because you can only work with someone if you have a viable human that is willing to do the work, is coachable. Right. And I don't think it's that these people aren't coachable. I found that it was that they had this running program in the back of their mind that maybe they weren't good enough. Right. Yeah. They weren't good enough to feel that amazing way, and it's almost like they're self-sabotaging. So now we have these neural entrainment methods where we can really get into just helping them understand their perception of their world and really flipping that script. Absolutely. So that they're able to see it from a different perception and see how valuable they are. I am valuable. I am loved. I am lovable. I am worthy of love. Yep. And I desire to be healthier, and I deserve to be healthier. Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. And that's kind of where, the mindset is, a fixed mindset, and versus a mindset of growth. And that's one of the main things that I see a lot of times, because in the Rio Grande Valley, we have a very, very high percentage within our population of metabolic syndrome, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, of hyperlipidemia, hypertension, things like that. So, a lot of times this is generational. And so I have people who, guests who come see me and my great grandma had diabetes, my grandpa had diabetes, my dad has diabetes, so, I guess I'm destined to have it too. It's like, whoa, man, let's step back a little bit. Let's and rewind. And why do you think that? And a lot of times their thought process is just, because my family has it. Yeah. It's genetic. It's hereditary. It's like, there is a component to that. I'm not going to deny that, but let's beat it. Let's beat it, because a lot of times people say, you can't reverse diabetes. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, you can.
So what we have to do is really make sure that we guide them, we help them, because a lot of times people feel alone. It's like, okay, well, I have nowhere else to go. I have no one with me. I'm just destined to, have this or that, like my family, and that's not true. So when we go back to the teaching and not telling, we also have to remind each person that we serve that is, hey, we have to switch, again, your mindset. We have to create an environment of dedication and not just motivation, because if we're just motivated, we just do things that we're motivated to do, we wouldn't do anything.
Right.
And so that's what we need to do as far as create this whole picture, this whole system that we need so they can be successful, they can be happy, have that energy back and enthusiasm like they want, that vitality that people lose.
Yes, come alive again. People want to feel alive.
Yeah. So that's our responsibility, because this is why we're going to do what we do, because it's our passion. We really do. I mean, like I said, we walk the walk, and I think that we're going to do our best for each individual.
Yeah.
Do our best.
That's what one of our clients was telling us today. Like, I wanted to come in because I know you walk the walk. You're doing it.
Exactly.
And you're not going to tell me to do anything that you're not doing yourself.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you gave me a little hormone pellet today. This is my first one that I ever got to try, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Bioidentical hormones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can't wait to share that with everyone. So who would be an ideal candidate for the hormone and peptide therapies?
Yeah. Well, I guess the simple answer is anyone. But like I said, it has to be customized for each individual. So the classics, something I see, very classic situation I see come in my clinic in Texas is say a 45 to 50-year-old male comes in, and they're gaining right here around their waist. Maybe they have low energy, they're losing muscle mass, low libido, erectile dysfunction, mental fog. Some of them are having night sweats at
men.
Men.
Wow.
You'd be surprised. It's like I had a guy the other day come in and say, "All right, man, I'm going to tell you, I haven't told anybody." So you can't say anything. I was like, all right, no. Everything in this room stays in this room. But yeah, he was having hot flashes and night sweats.
Wow.
His wife was freezing next door, right next to him in bed. They had the AC turned on and she was freezing, but this guy was just having so many night sweats. So
you just made a really good point. I think a lot of men suffer in silence.
Oh yeah.
Because that's an embarrassing thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Or even to admit, like, hey, I'm getting man boobs.
Yeah, exactly. And then, gynecomastia, that's something that we see all the time. But the question is, okay, so again, whenever we have something presented to us, the question we have to ask in medicine is why.
Yeah.
So it's like, if someone has A, B, C, and D symptoms, great. Okay, that helps paint the picture. But let's figure out why. Let's figure out the root cause and why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. And that's where the money's made, because that's where people get the results that they're looking for.
Yes.
So a lot of times, for his situation, it could be multiple things. For this individual, it was his gut health. He had horrible gastritis and constipation.
Aww.
And so, and like he talked about, again, the night sweats and fatigue, erectile dysfunction, and testing his hormones, his testosterone was like, at 230, super low. And, but like I said, he was told everything was normal because he presented these symptoms to another clinician.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, let's call him Mr. Johnson. All right, Mr. Johnson, let's check it sounds like you're going through low testosterone. Let's check your testosterone. So they checked it, and it came back at 234. It's like, okay, no, sorry, Mr. Johnson, your testosterone, it is normal. They're not lying to him.
Right.
It is 1,000,000% normal, but the range is from 200.
Could drive a Hummer through that range.
1,100. Yeah, it's like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So if I take that same individual and optimize his hormones in a bioidentical way, and I get him up to 1034. Well, guess what? 1034, that's normal too. A completely different individual.
But he's going to feel different.
He's going to feel different.
Guy.
But he's still, if we just treat numbers, he's still going to be normal, just like the 234. And that's where we get in trouble in medicine, because we're trying to do the bare minimum, and a lot of the people across our country, they're surviving, but they're not thriving.
Oh gosh, so it's like these people, in medicine, it's like, oh, well, as long as you're alive, right? Your system is okay enough so that you're not going to die. You're going to you're going to live, but you're not going to thrive. And so I think that's where we come in, is helping people come alive again.
Yeah.
That feeling when you go in the ocean and you come out and just like all those ions and that cold therapy in your body, you just feel everything, right?
Absolutely.
I feel that when I take a cold shower in the morning. I literally feel alive. I can feel my chi, the prana, just everything moving through my body, and I feel so alive. I'm ready for the day, and it's way beyond any type of shot of espresso or anything you could have. It's like when everything's flowing in your body and all the cells are talking to each other and you feel like you have that electrical charge, like you're on 100%, you know, it just feels different. You feel alive. And one thing that I feel like you said, people are thriving, or they're just surviving, not thriving. I noticed that in a lot of people, especially people once they get into their 40s. I noticed that it's like they've just been grinding for so long on this treadmill.
Yeah.
And then things start to kind of fall apart. It's almost like a car, you know, at 80,000 miles or something. And it's like, it's still going to go, but there's a lot of things. You got to take it in for maintenance. And that's where we can get people back to the way they felt, you know, when they were in their 20s. Yeah. Really.
It's amazing how many people take better care of their car than they do themselves.
Or their dog. I find that out. I find that a lot. You know, they feed the dog the raw food. I just found out the other day, and I don't know if this is true, but they say that the regulations for dog food is higher than human regulations.
I believe it. Yeah. I believe it. Yeah.
It's like, is this really possible?
They take out all the heavy metals in dog food, but you know they'll put it in our.
But it's gonna be in our food, and so these dogs, you know, they're thriving. That's why they're jumping around all happy.
I know, they're all outside.
My dog's out here barking, running around, little Toby.
Exactly. So, but no, you're right, Tracy, and that's kind of where we need to get you know, intervene, like you said, you know, to really at least have an opportunity. Sometimes people don't even have an opportunity. It's like maybe what we do and what we're planning on doing, it's not for everybody.
Right.
You know, we would like it to be, and we believe in it, but it's not for everybody. And I see that a lot too. It's like, okay, well, you know, I just don't want to put forth the effort. It's like, okay, well, I can't make you do something you don't want to do, but at least offer and enlighten you in you know, in this direction that could help you, you know, and I've gotten plenty of people off their, you know, cholesterol medication, their blood pressure medication, you know, lowered their sugar in a natural way. Because what we're doing, like I said, is I feel that we're too rushed and we're doing a lot of things backwards. And like as we age and we lose that vitality, we have to look at, okay, what's causing my symptoms? And like I said, I keep on repeating myself because that is what we need to do. We have to ask that question. And we're not asking those questions.
And sometimes when you sit down to ask those questions, the answer is really simple. Like it's one little tweak that's been causing this cascade, this downward spiral. Absolutely. And it could be as simple as hydration or the osmotic balance in the minerals in the system between the intracellular, extracellular fluid, or it could be that the person has too many xenobiotics in their system and they need to get those long chain estrogens, those fake estrogens out of their system. Something simple that hasn't been addressed yet.
Yeah.
And it's like that one thing, you find out what that one thing is, and they're like, oh my gosh, my life's changed.
Yeah. It's like I had no idea. Like,
I had no idea.
It's like it's the normal for them. It's like, okay, and then they're told that too. It's like, okay, well, it's like, you know, hey, you're 56 years old and you feel like this, you're experiencing this, you can't really sleep at night, your memory's kind of going, well, that's normal for you. That's normal for a 56-year-old. And it's like, whoa, you know, is it really? Okay, if it is, a lot of 56-year-olds or 60-year-olds or whatever, yeah, they might experience that, but why?
Yeah.
What's going on and what can we do about it? And like I said, it's going to be customized for each individual. You know, anywhere from the diet to the supplemental routine to the exercise routine, it's all going to be customized to each individual. But we have to ask that question. Yeah. Because if we don't, then we're getting in trouble. And we're just going to play, you know, Band-Aid medicine. Just kind of throw Band-Aids everywhere, and that's not what we're going to do.
And I feel like the experiences that I've had going to regenerative medicine clinics, it seems like they want to take a lot of tests.
Yeah.
Let me take a microbiome test. Let me take a blood test. Let me take a hormone test. And those tests add up to thousands of dollars if you're paying out of pocket, right? And that's one thing that I really do love that we're doing at Hydrate, is that when we take enough time to really hear the person's story, you can narrow that down significantly so that you're not having them go out and spend thousands of dollars on all these tests. It's like, you know what, I think we know. We've pinpointed this from what we're hearing, and let's check this out and see. Yeah. And most of the time, it's like 90% of the time, it's a home run. We're like, okay, we got this. We figured it out. And that's huge, because when people are trying to do this regenerative medicine, a lot of time, I think one of the obstacles is the money.
Exactly. Yeah, because a lot of times functional clinics and practitioners, they don't take insurance. And so developing a plan that, because let's be honest, it's like if someone is going through, you know, say anxiety, fatigue, depression, and the chronic pain, you know, and we try to throw at them, you know, okay, everything's going to be about $5,000. that's going to cause more stress in their life.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And a lot of times it's the stress, it's the cortisol levels that's causing their issues in the
I
first place.
know.
And we're making the situation worse.
Exactly.
So again, we have to be respectful and mindful of that too. And that's kind of the reason why we feel almost called to this, to create this dream of ours. But like I said, we got to take things in steps. You know, step 1, step 2, step 3. We don't want to do everything at once, because even though we have a perfect plan for you, oh my gosh, you need this, you need that, you need CoQ10, glutathione, or whatever, it might be too much for their system right now.
Yep.
And like I said, they might have to go leave with like 20 supplements, for example, which you never want to do. But and you say, okay, well, I feel better, but why? You know, what's making me feel better? Because so anyways, we got to make sure that if we're really truly customizing things, we got to start low and go slow, and to really just build the individual up in a very systematic way.
Yes, I completely agree. Just like you would think that everyone needs digestive enzymes and HCl, right? I mean, I give that to almost every person. But what I love about the bioenergetic scan that we can do is, like the client we had today, we found out that her body, the digestive enzymes was making her body worse. Yeah. It was bringing the body out of balance.
Right.
And you would never think that, you know, you would just think, okay, everyone needs digestive enzymes. But for her body, it's so unique. And we were able to look at what's happening in her system, and that brought it out of balance. Yeah. So it's like, nope, this isn't going to work for you. Exactly. We had to find something else for her. And that's what's really cool, because it's not... You know, you go to Whole Foods and you look at the aisles and you think, okay, here's the section that has all the vitamin C, you know, and here's the section that's good for liver health or colon therapy or parasite cleanses. All right, so you pull it off the shelf and you're like, well, on the label it says great for liver, so I'm going to take this. But is it good for your liver? Is it what your body needs? So with our bioenergetic testing, we can see, is this balancing the body? Is it bringing it into balance, or is it actually throwing it off even more?
You're exactly right. And like we talked about the situation today with iodine. You know, if someone, you know, we know that, you know, through science is like, hey, iodine is very important for thyroid health. And when we talk about hormones, think of hormones as like a symphony. You know, we got to be playing at the right time, the right tune, the right instrument. The conductor of that symphony is the thyroid. So we have to have an optimized functioning thyroid. But a lot of times, you know, again, we can't do cookie cutter therapy. So we know that iodine is so important for many things, especially the thyroid. But if you have a situation called Hashimoto's, iodine can make it worse. Yeah. That's why we got to make sure we
fueling the fire there.
Exactly, just stocking the fire. So we got to make sure that we're doing a very thorough, in-depth evaluation. You know, we do a lot of thyroid in my clinic. So a lot of times people, and if they have thyroid conditions, who are listening, have thyroid conditions, or, you know, if they get their thyroid checked, you know, they might be familiar with the lab called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which is important to get, don't get me wrong, but it's not the end-all say-all. A lot of times people just are diagnosed with a normal thyroid or a hypothyroid based on one lab result. But we have to get things like the TSH, the free T3, free T4, reverse T3, TPO, thyroid globulin, reverse T3, you know, these types of things, because this completes the whole picture. Because like I said, if I just do a TSH and I give you iodine and you have Hashimoto's, again, I can maybe make the situation worse. That's why every therapy has to be customized for each individual. Yeah. So, and that's what we're going to do. But in order to do that, it takes time.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we're going to be offering.
We keep going back to time.
You got to have
time. Hear the story, understand the individual.
You got to have time. Yeah. So and that's what's going to be exciting about it, because we're going to at least give people an opportunity to get their questions answered and to be heard.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Steve, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
I feel like we were able to cover so many things. If people want to know more about you and what you're doing, what you're up to, where can they find you?
So again, my clinic is Restore Wellness, RGV, and we're located in McAllen, Texas. And, you know, each go to, we're on Instagram and Facebook. Website is rgv.com. Phone number is 956-683-6797. And like I said, we offer a lot. We really try to create an environment of hospitality. So if anybody has questions, just call the clinic. You know.
And you do telemed as well.
Telemedicine. So yeah. So even though, you know, like I said, we're going to be, you know, I'll be primarily in Texas, but I'll be coming to San Diego, you know, once a month to serve our guests here. But if people want to have a consultation or to see us, you know, I do have telemed, and people like telemed. It's pretty accommodating and pretty good. And so we have those options as well.
Yeah, and we're going to do a special promotion if they call from this show, if they want to see you and get their labs tested and get that assessment and take the time where you can hear their story.
Yep.
So we'll put all of that in the show notes so that people can get an opportunity to come see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just get them on that path of health and wellness. You know, like I said, a lot of times people are feeling lost. They don't know what to do. They're told everything's normal. They don't feel normal. What's the next step? And a lot of times they have nowhere else to go. So at least, you know, like give us a chance. You know, give us a chance to see what we can do to help you achieve your goals, achieve your dreams, and in a very bioidentical, clean way that will help, you know, excite your body, excite your cells, and not just suppress them. And that's what we're going to be doing.
Yay! All right. Thank you, Steve.
My
It was
pleasure.
a great show.
Awesome.